I want to start by asking you to do something difficult today. Step back from the urgent headlines. While most of the noise we consume daily focuses on trade fights in Washington, tariffs, and the constant political drama south of the border, something much quieter, and I would argue far more consequential, has been unfolding on the other side of the Pacific. If you blinked, you probably missed it. But Canada and Japan are moving toward each other in a way that says a lot about where the global economy is actually going. And why should you care? Because these movements shape your job prospects, the cost of the products you buy, and even your security over the next decade. There were no fireworks, there was no dramatic signing ceremony designed for cable news. But if you followed international economics long enough, you know that the most important moves rarely announce themselves with noise. They emerge through alignment, timing, and intent. And the intent here, suddenly, is unmistakable. Welcome to the chess game of the middle powers. Let's get to the facts. Canada and Japan have known each other for a long time. They sit side by side in the G7. Both describe themselves as stable democracies, committed to open markets and the rule of law. For decades, this relationship was reliable, but let's be honest, it was almost taken for granted. Japan bought food, energy, and raw materials from Canada. Canada benefited from Japanese capital and technology. It worked, but it wasn't ambitious. Canada looked obsessively toward the Atlantic and the South, to the US. Japan divided its attention between the US, China, and the rest of Asia. But what changed? The world around them became less forgiving. Analysts point out that the global economy has suffered brutal reality checks. The pandemic showed just how fragile supply chains are. Energy shocks reminded governments of the danger of overdependence, and, perhaps most critically, trade has been weaponized. Geopolitics now invades markets in a way we haven't seen in decades. For countries like Canada and Japan, what we call middle powers, this isn't theory, it is a matter of survival. When the rules break, it's not the superpowers that feel it first, it's the countries that rely on stability and trust to prosper. That is why the presence of Japanese business leadership in Canada late last year wasn't just ceremonial, it was a signal that Japanese companies are actively looking for partners they can trust for decades, not just for the next quarter. But let's get down from the diplomatic level to the factory floor. Where does this affect the real economy? The conversation has changed. It is no longer about selling wheat or seafood, although that remains important. Japan faces structural pressures that are impossible to ignore: an aging population, energy constraints, and an urgent need to decarbonize its industry without losing strength. On the other side, Canada has strengths that align almost perfectly with those needs: clean electricity, critical minerals, advanced materials, and research in artificial intelligence. When you put these pieces together, you don't just get trade, you get co-production. Think about electric vehicles and batteries. This is the perfect real-world example cited by experts. Japanese firms are global leaders in battery chemistry and manufacturing precision. Canada has the raw materials and the clean energy. If these supply chains are built together, you don't just create export revenue, you create domestic jobs that are difficult to offshore. You create industrial ecosystems that survive shocks. And the logic extends further: clean hydrogen, advanced robotics, biotechnology. Japan brings capital and engineering depth. Canada brings space, energy, and political stability. For investors, this combination is extremely attractive in a world where predictability has become scarce. Now, you might be asking yourself, but aren't Japan and Canada already close allies of the United States? Yes, absolutely, and that is exactly why this story matters. Strategic interpretations indicate that this isn't about abandoning old allies. It is about balance. It is about ensuring that when one door narrows, others are already open. There is also a dimension of values that should not be underestimated. Both operate under transparent legal systems. Contracts are enforced, property rights are respected. That might sound boring, but boring is exactly what companies crave when making investments that will last 30 or 35 years. Of course, let's not be naive. None of this happens on autopilot. There are real cultural frictions. Canada's federal system can be confusing and slow for foreign investors. Japanese corporate culture can be overly cautious. The critical question is whether both sides are willing to adapt. The signs show that they are, because the alternative, standing still in an unstable world, carries a much higher risk. And here enters national security. Economic security is national security today. When your supply chains are diversified among trusted partners, you are less vulnerable to coercion. When technological innovation happens among democracies, there is less risk that this innovation will be used against society itself. What we are watching ultimately is Canada quietly redefining how it sees itself in the world, moving from being just a junior partner looking toward the Atlantic to becoming a confident player in the Pacific. And Japan, for its part, is reinforcing a strategy that blends alliance loyalty with foresight. Neither country is trying to dominate the world. They are trying to endure, and that may be the most important lesson here. In an era obsessed with speed, disruption, and confrontation, endurance is underrated. If we look ahead to the next 10 years, we won't see a dramatic break. We will see accumulation. We will see Japanese electric vehicles assembled in Canada as part of a North American strategy. We will see critical minerals flowing through trusted chains. We will see technology standards being defined by democratic values, not authoritarian convenience. This partnership is a bet on stability in an unstable world. It is proof that middle powers don't have to choose between retreat and confrontation. They can choose to build their own power structures. And that brings us back to you. How do you see this movement? Do you believe that betting on stable and boring partners is the best strategy for the next decade? Or will speed and low cost still dictate the rules of the market? This is a developing story, and we will continue to investigate these silent movements that shape the map of the world. If you want to understand geopolitics beyond the obvious, subscribe to the channel and share this video with those who need to understand the long game. See you in the next investigation.